All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to LearnBiz The Podcast. Today, we are bringing you another extra special topic. Since we're closing out Women's History Month, we couldn't help but touch this topic, as allegedly the core of this issue had to do with a woman. So we're going to share some very brief thoughts about this big picture situation. But I'm Sandy B, and I'm here with Lisa.
Lisa K.
Lisa K. We got to add the K. We are both with LearnBiz The Podcast, and we try to bring you business topics, entrepreneurship topics, and mix a little bit of current events into the mix. So Lisa, we're not even going to delay. You know, the elephant in the room has been going for about a good week straight. What are your thoughts on what went down in this situation?
Well, my thoughts are that I would have thought that Will and Jada would have had a little bit tougher skin in this in their entertainment arena, and understanding that Chris Rock was operating within the context of his work as a comedian. Now, whether or not he touched up on some sensitive areas due to medical conditions and that type of thing, I think he touched it, he hit it, and he quit it. That's what he did. He hit it, quit it. And I think if things had stayed right there, he would have moved on, and that would have been that. So needless to say, I think it falls back on Will. He was out of bounds to me.
Look, I think as soon as I saw the situation, first, after I overcame the shock of seeing what I saw, because, there's certain environments that there's certain things you just don't expect to see. And while I do understand, you can't control people's emotions, you can't control what happens during the moment. Come on. We're in a professional setting, we're suited up, there's something going on. Even if you had that much of a feeling towards something, man, don't you remember the days when they would say, take it outside?
Right.
Take care, pause for now, you haven't forgotten, but you're there for a mission like that. Right. That was the thing that I couldn't get across my head. And I hear so many different views, but that's all I really wanted to touch on that, because realistically, one slap back to reality, there's a greater picture here. You have two individuals who are professionals. You have three individuals who are professionals who likely have multiple business entities, if not at least one business entity, who have a brand to represent.
Yes.
To me, that is enough to kind of keep my juices in a zone, because I can lose my cool, but in that moment, sometimes that split second decision is, okay, I don't want to lose everything that I have, or I don't want, can you imagine if this guy really decided to retaliate and respond? I mean, it would have been a real, just terrible loss for everybody. I mean, it was already a bad look to begin with.
It was.
I just can only imagine what would have happened had there been a response.
Let me tell you exactly what would have happened. What would have happened? One of the things that easily could have happened is that Will Smith could have gotten arrested right there on the spot. That's what easily could have happened. And it was really up to Chris Rock to call the play right at that moment. And you know what I heard this morning, as recent as this morning on the news, is that Chris Rock refused to have Will Smith arrested at the Oscars. Wow. How about that? And it would have occurred, mind you, just before he received his first Oscar ever. How about that for messing up your brand?
Look, I can only imagine what was going through any of their minds that evening. Yes, I can see things from Jada's perspective. Yes, I can see things from Will's perspective. Yes, I can see things from Chris Rock's perspective. It's really not about perspective. It's kind of about right versus wrong at this point. And even if you thought something was done in poor taste, because again, we're talking about a comedian, even if you thought that joke was way off target, your brand, your business should be important enough to you that there has to be a moment. You know, I know we all have that loose cannon thing in us. We all have that element.
Right.
But there are certain times that even, give you a perfect example, Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see her facial expression during certain questions where honestly, she could have gone way off if she wanted to? But what's your intention? You have a purpose, right? You have something that you're trying to accomplish. So you're not going to blow your opportunity because of some little, I don't even want to use the word, some little whatever makes a comment or asks a question that you already know the motivation behind their question. You're not going to blow everything for that. You know, you're going to remain composed and you're going to think about what it is that you have going on. So branding to me, if nothing else, it is your reputation. It is your livelihood. It is the thing that people think of when they think of your name. And I'm just going to leave it on this note. When I think of Will Smith's name, I don't think of anything good right now. When I think of Jada, I think this is very unfortunate because on the one hand, yes, she probably had a feeling about it, but we completely overshadowed that feeling with the nonsense of the repercussions of this. And for Chris Rock, I really just think, wow, what a professional. Even though he made a joke that I thought was completely like, come on, bro, leave that alone. Like that wasn't the joke that I would have really expected from you. There's so many different ways that you could have gone, and I wouldn't have chosen Will, especially since he was, you know, it was his night. But at the same token, you're a comedian. That's your thing. And even if it was done in poor taste, I have much respect for Chris Rock for maintaining composure in a moment of, you know, instantaneous response.
Yes, sheer chaos. And just as mentioned, Jada, the woman in the middle of the situation, they showed some footage where actually Will Smith laughed at that joke before he became offended. And sorry about my camera, kind of crazy here. But the reason why he became offended is because he saw Jada's face. He saw the way she took that. So Jada's expression played into Will's reaction, and he said it was emotional. He apologized finally. So good for him. I think he'll rebound in his brand, but you don't want to play with your brand. You just don't want to play with it like that.
Look, for branding purposes, I pray that Will has a man-to-man with Chris and truly apologizes, because it was disturbing to me that he did not apologize to him that night. Because honestly, I think if Will had said something to Chris Rock instead, I actually believe Chris Rock would have responded with an apology. But nonetheless, we just wanted to do a quickie this morning. We thank you so much for tuning into LearnBiz The Podcast. We have our Entrepreneur Mindset Summit coming on Tuesday, May the 10th. We have an amazing panel of speakers who are going to be sharing their knowledge in all things business and entrepreneurship. So we hope that you will stay tuned for that. Let me see. Am I missing anything else, Lisa?
I think that's basically it. And of course, we want to wish everybody to enjoy the rest of their day here on this Friday.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in to LearnBiz, the podcast. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.